Hi, I'm Sabina Sean, and I'm reporting for the gazebo. I'm here with Social Studies Department Head and Design Teacher, Mr. Mike Kelly. What does STEM stand for?
Well, STEM's an acronym. It stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
When did the program at Stratford start?
Okay, well, we've obviously had elements of, STEM is kind of a trendy name that covers a lot of different things. So we've been teaching science and math and stuff like that for quite some time. We have a program that's actually called STEM in the elementary school. And we started the design program in the upper school specifically 4 years ago as an after-school club. And then we've had a class for the past 3 years.
What programs do the students use to help them design things in your class?
I'd say probably the most common one they use is SketchUp, which seems to be pretty easy to use. Most of the tools we have you can import from almost any design program you use, and since that's the one they're most familiar with, they probably use that. Some of the machines have proprietary programs, which mean designed specifically for that. You can import things, but you can use that, and so sometimes they use that. But I would say overwhelmingly SketchUp.
What are some things that the design class has designed for Stratford and for other communities outside of Stratford?
Well, we haven't done a whole lot for communities outside of Stratford yet. That's kind of the next step that we're going into next year. For Stratford, we've designed a lot of things. I mean, generally the kids have a series of challenges, some which don't work out, some which do. For example, last year we did a lot with circuitry and stuff, and we did something that's called Tesla coils. Most of those didn't work out too well, but I think we learned a lot about electricity in it. Probably the two most visible things that we've done is one, well, design the rooms. Both this room and the room downstairs were built by the students, meaning these benches were built by the students. Those obviously weren't, they were assembled by them. The bookcases were reconfigured and painted by them. They pretty much decided any tool we have, especially all those big tools downstairs, were all assembled by the students. The gallery space out here was designed and painted by students, so that's pretty visible. Last year they made a series of games for various teachers to try to teach concepts. Many of those games were made with plastics and 3D printing and wood and carving in wood, or 3D routing and CNC routing in wood, and involved a lot of different processes. And then this year we're making chairs, which some of the parts of them are around here. And we did something similar to this when we had the club, but those chairs will be put around the Stratford campus too. Yeah.
What do you think are some of the most important skills that people get out of from taking your class?
Well, I think the two, I hope we get across, is one something that they call out at the Stanford D School, which stands for Design School, but they call it D School because they're Stanford and they call it whatever they want, right? Is what we call creative intelligence. And that is, there's a tendency in too many schools to think somebody's really smart just because they memorized a lot of stuff. But if they can't do something with it, they're not really all that smart. And so we emphasize doing. And okay, you got an idea, that's great. Now what can we do with that idea? And when it doesn't work, well, let's figure out a way to make it work. Or maybe we get to a dead end and it just doesn't work, but we probably learned some things from that we can apply to something later. For example, the Tesla coils failed, but we learned a lot about circuitry that we can use on something else. So I think that's an important thing. And the other thing that kind of gets us back to STEM is the idea that life isn't divided into subjects. I don't do science for part of my day and then do history for part of my day and then do English. I do it all at once usually. If I'm working on something, let's say I'm building a bookcase, well, I'm doing a little engineering and designing the bookcase. I may be doing a little bit of history and thinking of, bookcases I've seen in the past and what I liked and what I didn't like about them. And then I'm doing, of course, some practical construction work. So we try to, bring these disciplines together. So, for example, in designing these chairs, they had to draw up a plan. They had to figure out the angles. They had to do some math. They had to interview some people. They had to go observe other chairs, write things they liked. Then once they got the math down and I was convinced that their drawings would actually work as a chair, they then had to convert that math into actual making cuts. Now they're doing construction things, so hopefully it's pulling in a lot of things. We also did a little bit about the history of chairs and how they changed over time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, sure.